I've been broke down, gotta catch up, gotta shine now. Running faster, I can't slow down. Gotta catch up, gotta shine now. Cause I've been blessed up, I've been broke down. Gotta catch up, gotta shine now.
Okay, we're getting ready to play, continuing this fellowship. The wedding game is not the newlywed game. We're going to have the wedding game. For the first round, the wives will be taken out, and then the husbands will be asked 3 questions, and you should answer the question most likely to what you think your wife would know, or what you know about your wife. Okay? So they're going to tell you, let me say that that's the first round. Women will go out, we'll ask the men 3 questions, we'll come bring the wives back, ask them the questions, they try to match the answer, and then the husbands will go out. Same thing, do it with the wives. The first round of questioning is 10 points each, and the final question is worth 25 points, and this is referred to as a bonus question. So at this time, we'll ask the wives to go. See ya. Right. What traffic sign would you say best describes your wife on a bad day? Which of these breakfast cereals best describes your wife's family's reaction when they first met you? Is it Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Square? On the field of love, which penalty would your wife say you would most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing? Miss Creamer, question number 1 is, what traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day? Which traffic sign would your husband say
Windy and curvy
best describes you on a bad day? Windy and curvy. Okay.
Get out. Go to code.
Stop.
I thought about dangerous curves ahead.
Miss Wills, which traffic sign would you say best describes, would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
Oh, shit.
You.
Do they get the point?
It is the same. No.
I'm constantly you, not the same.
Oh. No, they're not.
Okay, Miss Mary, which traffic sign would your husband say
He better know.
best describes you on a bad day?
Signs doesn't have sides.
Railroad crossing.
That's good.
Dangerous. Okay. Miss Dice. Okay. Which traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
Come on, bus driver.
Stop. All right. You got it. Okay. Mr. Radcliffe. Miss Radcliffe. What traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
U-turn. Turn around.
Red stoplight.
U-turn.
Don't even go there with it.
Yeah.
All right, you turn on the left. Sister Pierce, which traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
I would say stop sign.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
I hear it all the time. Stop. Way too much.
Okay, Miss Wallace. Miss Wallace, which traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
I don't know. I don't know. A stop sign, I guess. I don't know. What'd you say? Look at his face. What'd you say?
Proceed with caution.
Okay. All right. That was Miss Pearl, which traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
I would say that same one, proceed with caution.
Stop.
What is that? Stop what?
This is like you're in a bad mood. Let's like stop.
No.
All right. Okay, Miss Jenkins. Miss Jenkins, which traffic sign would your husband say best describes you on a bad day?
I would say yield.
Have you lost your mind?
Stop.
Oh, man.
Why don't they just ask each other, what'd you put? What'd you put?
Okay, this time we're gonna start with Miss Jenkins and go the other way.
Okay.
So for question number 2, Miss Jenkins, which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares? I'll read them again. Which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met him?
That's a good question.
Fruit
That's a
Loops,
great question.
Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares?
Just right.
Just Right. Lucky
I was
Charms.
gonna say that too. I heard just
What
right.
did you say?
At least I didn't say shredded wheat.
Okay, Miss Furlan. Which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares?
I don't know how to do that. I don't know what these things mean.
It would be like crazy.
Like
Charms be sweet.
I'm just gonna say Frosted Flakes because that's his favorite cereal.
Lucky Charms. Okay,
You don't even like
Miss Wallace, which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares?
Fruit Loops. Am I right?
No.
Oatmeal Squares.
It wasn't good. I don't like oatmeal squares. I don't even know what that is.
I like what they did. I mean, it was Fruit Loops to me.
I was from
That's
Nobody's
terrible. That's bad.
Okay,
is tricky.
Miss Pierce, here we go. Miss Pierce, which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met Love Biscuit? Is it Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares?
You better know it.
Bam. They thought I was crazy.
Okay,
Thought I was crazy.
Miss Radcliffe, which of these breakfast cereals best describe your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares?
Oatmeal squares.
What?
Nope, that's not right.
Lucky. Yeah.
Lucky Charm. I was thinking about Serenity and Joy. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, Miss Diaz, which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or Oatmeal Squares? Fruit Loops. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Got a tie between the Diases and the Pierces. Is that right? Okay. All right. Sister Mary, Miss Mary, which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or oatmeal squares?
I got a question.
Okay.
For him or for me?
Your what was your family's reaction when they first met him?
Just right.
She look like that. She knows.
Look at y'all. Okay, Ms. Wills. Which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or oatmeal squares?
My family's reaction
Yes,
on this idea of that.
Your family's reactions when they
Just
first,
right.
Just Right. All right. Okay. All right. Miss Creamer, which of these breakfast cereals best describes your family's reaction when they first met your husband? Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Just Right, Frosted Flakes, or oatmeal squares?
See, I'm trying to think. Does this mean when we first met when we were at church at 11 or when we started dating?
Can't ask
I'd say
questions.
dating.
Just give answers.
That makes a difference.
You're cheating.
Nope. Eat.
I'm going to say Lucky Charms.
Just Right. Okay. Okay. We're going to go ahead. This is the last question for the women, and then we will take the men out. So we'll start back over here with you, Miss Creamer. Okay, listen. This is probably the best one. Now, if you don't know what the field of love is, just let me know. Because we did have a question from one of the earlier participants. So if you try to clarify.
Just go on and clarify now.
Okay.
Just tell us what it is.
Let me go ahead and read it. On the field of love.
Is that in the bed?
It could be. It could be not. Who's to say?
Oh, it's wherever.
I think when I give you that, the choices, it's going to be self-explanatory. So, on the field of love, which penalty, on the field of love, which penalty would your wife say, which penalty would you say that your husband would be most likely called on? Which penalty? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing? On the field of love.
What was the first one?
Illegal use of the hands.
I'm going to go with the illegal use of the hands.
All right. Okay, Miss Wills, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would be most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hand, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
Illegal use of the hand.
All right, okay. Coming on up. Okay, Miss Mary, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would be most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
She said, I don't know no sport.
What's the backfield? Give me the illegal use of the hand.
Okay, all right, illegal use of the hands. Rushing. Okay, Miss Dias, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would be most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing? Rushing. All right, rushing. Okay. Ms. Ratcliffe, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would be most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hand, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
Illegal use of the hand.
Illegal use of the hand.
Which way do you go?
Is that what you do?
Okay, Miss Pierce.
That's what
Miss Pierce, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that Lucius would be most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
illegal use of the hands.
Illegal use of the hands. All right. Okay. All right. Got a battle. Got a battle. Okay. Miss Wallace.
Stop.
Okay, Miss Wallace. On the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would be most likely to be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
Illegal use of rushing.
All right. All right. Illegal use of the hands. You got it. Okay. Miss Furlan, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would most likely be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
Illegal use of the hands. Woo! Our first one! Yeah!
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, and this will end our round of questioning for the women. On the field of love, Ms. Jenkins, on the field of love, which penalty would you say that your husband would most likely be called on? Illegal use of the hands, motion in the backfield, or rushing?
Illegal use of the hands.
Praise the Lord.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, we'll have the men to lead. If your husband, you did go back in. Okay.
Yes.
If your husband was in charge of cooking dinner, on one evening, which dish would he prepare? Question number 2. If your husband had the chance to be single again,
Oh, he wouldn't want to do that.
Lord.
how long would you say that he would stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute? Number 3. Okay, you guys ready for this one?
Yeah.
Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble?
Oh my God.
Wait, listen.
Wait,
no,
is
that
it
ain't
choice?
no.
Yes.
Give you a choice.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington,
I'm just going to put Denzel.
Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman? Men, these are the questions we ask your wife, and I'm going to start right over here with Mr. Creamer. We ask your wife, if you, the husband, were in charge of cooking dinner for one evening, what dish would you prepare? If you were responsible for dinner one evening, what would you cook? What do you think your wife would say you would cook?
Pork chops.
Okay. All right. Okay. Miss Wills.
Have the $5 with 10.
Oh no. If you, Miss Wills, if your husband was in charge of cooking dinner one evening, what would he prepare?
Manwich.
I don't think she wants that.
Grilled meat. Okay, Mr. Merritt. Mr. Merritt, we asked your wife, if you were in charge of cooking dinner for one evening, what dish would you prepare?
Pork chop casserole.
Pork chop casserole. Okay. Mr. Dias, we asked your wife, if you were in charge of cooking dinner one evening, what dish would you prepare?
Spaghetti.
Yay.
Spaghetti. Okay.
That's smoky.
Mr. Radcliffe.
We've been together 10 years.
Mr. Radcliffe, if we asked your wife, if you was in charge of cooking dinner one evening, what dish would she say that you would prepare?
I don't know which one we chose. I'm gonna say hamburgers. Damn.
All right.
I knew
And
that.
burgers in there
A little
somewhere.
bit of sense. A little bit of sense.
Okay,
I'm stuck.
okay, okay, Pastor. If we asked your wife if you were in charge of cooking dinner one evening, which dish would you prepare?
Aw.
Steak.
Hot dogs.
I heard you heard a lot.
Cause I was thinking what you
We
want
wanna
to
see. I can't see it.
Chicken.
Okay. Mr. Wallace, we asked your wife if your husband was in charge of cooking dinner one evening, which dish would you prepare?
Probably the favorite thing she wants me to cook is barbecue. No.
Seafood.
Seafood.
Is that what they got it right?
She don't eat it like that.
Okay. Mr. Spurs, we asked your wife if your husband was in charge of cooking dinner one evening, which dish would he prepare? What do you think she said?
I don't cook, so I know what she's. Frozen pizza.
Dang it, no!
Hot
Our
dog.
second favorite.
Okay.
I mean,
Mr.
microwave for
Jenkins,
30 seconds.
we asked your wife if your husband was in charge of cooking dinner one evening, what dish would you prepare?
One evening.
One evening.
One evening.
If you was responsible for dinner one evening, what would she say you would cook?
He took
It would be the other way around. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
barbecue.
Oh.
I tell you to cook, but it was up to you.
Okay, question number 2. We're gonna start back over here with Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, we asked your wife if you had the opportunity, your husband, if your husband had the opportunity to be single again,
Which you wouldn't choose that.
how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
She said, watch it.
Repeat that question.
Ask your wife if you had the chance to be single again.
If something happened to me,
How long would you stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
they better watch their ass.
There ain't no like never option.
Don't add to, take away from. Just
Okay, 1 year.
Yay!
Okay.
I only got one.
Those are number 2.
Okay. Mr. Spurlin, we asked your wife this question. If your husband had a chance.
What did I tell you? What did I tell
She
you?
did say he don't think like this. She did say that.
If your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
Circumstances, like, something happened, or I mean,
Just answer.
I hear them.
Oh my gosh, 1 minute. We're doing worse than the Jenkins. One more time.
So maybe again, I'm just for 1 minute.
I was thinking because you want to get back with me. Like if we broke up.
That wasn't in there.
Okay, Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace, we asked your wife if your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
I'll go 1 day.
A year.
He said we'll talk about it.
Now, have you seen those gambling commercials on TV? At the very end, it says it's only a game. Okay, Mr. Pierce. We asked your wife if your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
Yeah.
Better have said
Okay. Mr. Radcliffe, we asked your wife if your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single?
Forever.
1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
1 year, man. 1 minute.
I was like, maybe you're gonna get back with me.
Oh.
See?
This happens in our
I ain't
marriage.
crazy.
It's the couple. It's the Bible study.
We always jack it up at Rachel's house. We misunderstand the question.
Okay, Mr. Dies, we asked your wife this question. If your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
A minute.
1 year.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Y'all ain't tired.
All right, Mr. Merritt, we asked your wife the question, if your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 minute, 1 day, or 1 day, 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
1 year.
1 year, okay. Okay. Mr. Wills, we asked your wife this question. If your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
What's it? What is it? I can't read that.
1 minute.
Oh.
Where you going?
Okay, Mr.
He
Creek.
ain't going nowhere.
Mr. Creek, we asked your wife this question. If your husband had the chance to be single again, how long would he stay single? 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, or 1 minute?
1 minute.
1 minute?
I say it all the time.
Okay. I'm gonna
James can't be a minute because he's always working.
A minute. That's tough.
Why?
Did you get back with Pierce?
Oh.
What's the Pierce's score?
4 and 6, they have the same thing.
Okay, so it's a tie between
They have 25 and 25.
25 apiece. So, but here's a bonus. Here's a bonus question. So even if you don't have
No, we got
25
number
apiece.
3. We got number 3 still.
Oh, okay.
Who's the third?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we did
Question
one
number 3.
too.
Here we go. Y'all ready? Here we go, guys. Okay, I'm gonna start over here to Mr. Creamer. This is what we asked your wife. Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Read it again. This is the question we asked her. Which movie star would your husband say that he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Is that right?
Probably Jack Nicholson.
Denzel Washington.
You ain't nothing like Jack Nicholson. You're nicer.
I'm not Denzel.
Okay. Well, take compliment. Okay, Mr. Will,
I'm a little lighter tonight.
which movie star would your wife say that you're most likely to resemble? Tom, this is what we asked your wife. Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
Oh, that's Denzel.
All right. Okay. Okay, Mr.
You
Merritt.
guys are twins.
Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman? Denzel.
Nigeria Lovato.
All
right now.
Okay.
Gerald Lovato.
Okay, Mr. Dies, we asked your wife this question. Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
None of these, but Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington? Okay, all right. Mr. Radcliffe, this is the wife. This is the question we asked your wife. It says, which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman.
All right, Mr. Pierce, here's the question we asked your wife. Which movie star would your husband say is most likely to
Oh, we already
resemble?
answered.
Denzel. Okay, all right, babe.
Denzel.
All right,
You
see?
know I be walking like
That wall.
Okay.
And walk.
All
I'm
right,
gonna show
Mr.
y'all before we leave.
All right, Mr. Wallace, here's the question. Which movie star would this is what we asked your wife. Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
I want to say Morgan, but it's not as
Denzel. All right.
I struggle.
Okay, Mr. Spurley. This is the question. Which movie star would this is what we asked your wife. Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
I say Tom Cruise, I feel like a jerk because I'm like, oh, I'm like Tom Cruise. But I'm too young.
There's
Okay,
two
Tom
other to
Cruise.
choose
Okay.
from. Two.
Tom Cruise, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's two, y'all. Two. We got two. So who got to say?
And don't forget, we got the bonus. You still got the bonus, so you're still alive. Still alive. Okay, Mr. Jenkins, this is the question we asked your wife. Which movie star would your husband say he's most likely to resemble? Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Jack Nicholson, or Morgan Freeman?
Is he nervous?
He's stressing.
Tom Cruise.
Morgan Freeman.
Because he got the greatest beard and hair.
He's also black.
Okay, all right. Here's your bonus. The bonus question is worth 25 points. So this is a game changer, regardless of where you are. To change everything. So here it is. Which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Now this is with your wife. Okay. What do you think she said? Starburst. Here we go.
Make that clear.
Starburst.
I don't want to feel this.
Hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds? I'm going to read it again. Which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds? And we'll start with the Jenkins here. Which of the following candies describes your first kiss? Starburst,
Hot tamales.
hot tamale. All right. Okay, Mr. Spurley, which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
What? Wait.
Hot tamales.
We might have just won. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Wallace, which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
Hot tamales.
Hot tamale. Okay. Mr. Pierce, which of
Milk duds.
milk duds?
What is it?
Starburst.
Mr. Radcliffe, which of the following candies best describe your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
He's so silly. He's so silly.
What?
Hot tamale.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Diaz, here's the question. Which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
Starburst.
Starburst, okay. Mr. Merritt, here's the bonus question. Which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
Hot tamales.
Hot tamales, the flames on the card too. All right, Mr. Wills, which of the following candies best describe your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
Hot tamales.
Hot tamales, okay. Everybody popping them bonus questions. Mr. Creamer, which of the following candies best describes your first kiss? Starburst, hot tamales, goobers, or milk duds?
I hope it's your favorite flavor, Starburst.
You moron.
Hot tamales. The merits and the diets are tied at 55. Pick a number between 10 and 20, and and we wrote it down again, and they ain't this time. whoever gets closest to that number is the winner. So pick a number between 10 and 20. Ms. Marriott, what'd you write down?
13.
13. Okay, the number is what?
13.
Okay. Winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give them a round of applause. And also, we want to give the Diane's family an awesome round of applause. Then give yourselves a round of applause. We're grateful to have with us today Pastor Sean Sales and his wife Martha Sales. They are from Bowling Green, Kentucky. He pastors Loving Springs Baptist Church in Glasgow. I don't remember when I first met Sean and Martha. It's been before Isaiah was born, wasn't it? So 20-something years, 25 years. And a word comes to mind with them is consistent. A lot of people that got married around the time my wife and I did, a lot of them are not still together, and some of them are in ministry. But with Sean and with his wife, he's been faithful to ministry. I remember one time my pastor, I was at his house one time, and I was doing some work on his back deck, and I said, "Man, you got a nice deck. You got like a outdoor fireplace. I mean, just wrought iron furniture." And it's like, "Man," he said, I hadn't sat back here in probably 4 or 5 times in 8 or 9 years. I'm like, "What?" I said, what are you doing? You ain't got time to sit down. He said, "Well, ministry and work just kind of gets in the way, and you, even people that are close to you, really, those are the ones you don't ever get to see." And I'm thinking, man, that's crazy. And then Sean and I talk on the phone every couple of months, but now, over the years, I can see, him being, faithful to ministry, but he's always the same. Consistent, him and his wife, the Lord over the years has been and still is moving in his church, in his ministry, in his marriage, on his job, in his kids, and they, to me, seem to be just a well-rounded couple. And so when we were talking about who can we get to come to speak, that's the name that came to my mind, just because of the history with them and just their faithfulness to the Lord, not just at the church, but even in their careers and in raising their children and just being together. I don't think I've ever seen him without her, and vice versa. And so I'm just want to introduce to you and present to you my friend, our brother in Christ, Pastor Sean Sales.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. It's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to be able to share with you guys. Let me say first, thank you for the invite. Thank you for allowing me to share. I thank God for the vision for married couples to come together and not just to celebrate, but to dialogue and to be honest. And if we're honest, marriage is work. It's work. Sometimes we talk about all the fun stuff, but I always tell couples that any good marriage, any healthy marriage is not one that's absent of problems. It's a marriage that's found a way to work through. Yes, sir. And figured out a way. And so for you all to have the vision and the desire to come together consistently and to support one another and share with one another, man, I say God bless you, and thank you guys for letting me be a part of that. Y'all forgive me. I am on call, and they've hit me, but I'm fine. So just really excited to be here. Now, I need to share this because I've set my wife up. because Pastor Slaughter and I talked a couple of times, and I was trying to get a feel for what this was. I said, well, I need to come preach, or am I coming just to talk? And of course, Brother Slaughter's like all the other pastors. Just do what you need to do, Ram. So I was about as clear after I got off the phone as I was before I asked. And so at first I had told Martha, I said, Martha, I want us to kind of share together, because we often do it at the church. There are different times where we just come together and share. And I said, I kind of want us to share together. And she said, well, babe, whatever you want me to do. I said, well, let me call Slaughter again, and I'm gonna make sure that that's. I said, Slaughter, man, just give me a feel. He said, Red, whatever you want to do. So I kind of approached it like I was just going to share with you all and get some dialogue. But I say this, she's my wife. But I need to tell you all, I would shortchange you. Giving this setup, I would shortchange you if I didn't include her. So I'm going to ask her. I put her on the spot. She wouldn't necessarily come prepared, but I'm going to put her on the spot, and she's going to help, and we're going to do an activity, and we'll get flowing in the Word of God. And what I would like to do today, I'm gonna change course, if that's okay. Rather than sharing with you, there's some things I want to deposit, I want to share with you all. But I'm going to do it in the way of dialogue. How about we do it that way? We'll engage and we'll have a little dialogue. You all probably know more than what I can tell you, so y'all might just be helping me, but that works for me too, okay? And we'll do that. Listen, I want to say to Pastor Slaughter, Lady Slaughter, to the Pierce family, and to all of you that are here, thank you, man. Thank you so much for having us. I want to go ahead and get started and let Sister Sales come and get us started with an activity, and we'll go from there. Okay.
All right. Okay. And so, because I'm in higher education, I know the best way to learn is to participate. Yeah. Okay? All right, so I hope this doesn't mess up your camera work, but we're going to be moving around. Okay? All right, so Pastor Sell shared with me, Reverend Slaughter, that he was going to talk or dialogue with the couples today in reference to communication. Okay. All right? All right. Oftentimes, when individuals ask Pastor Sales to marry them, he makes sure before he unites them, they have to go through counseling. And usually it's with us together. And he begins to talk about things that begin with F that can really mess up a marriage.
Okay.
Okay.
Family.
Food.
Why are you doing
Yeah. Finances.
Yes.
Flesh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Friends.
Yeah.
Those things.
Faith.
Yes, and faith, more importantly. Those things can really mess up a marriage. Yeah, if you're not careful. And oftentimes, with those words, it's just not enough to know it. You have to talk about it.
Right.
You know, we young and old. It's not just young individuals who get married, but it's also seasoned individuals, and they really don't talk about faith before they get married.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are, if he didn't get to go to church before you got married, he's probably not just going to jump in and go. They really don't talk about finances. They just say, you got your money, I got mine. We'll put it together when necessary, but not really. They really don't talk about friends. I don't like your friends, you don't like mine. We'll come together at the marriage. They'll be on that side. This group will be on this side. But friends can really mess up a marriage, especially if the individuals as well as finances are not talking about those things. Those things can really mess up a marriage. And so it's not enough to know those if you don't talk about it.
Right.
All right. Communication is key. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. And even on your card that you shared, you know, I'm real big on love languages, so I love to see that. Because sometimes what I say is not always what you heard.
Right.
All right. Okay. So one of my favorite quotes, and I share this even when I do diversity training. What you do, speak so loudly, I can't hear what you say.
Wow.
That's good. That's good.
Come on, teach us.
Right. Yeah. You two behind the camera, what you do? Speak so loudly, I can't hear what you say. you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. No matter how much I love you, no matter how long we've been together, eventually what you do speaks so loudly. If you're not careful, when you talk, it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher to me. Because what you do, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. I can't hear what you say. All right. So we got to learn how to communicate in even a non-verbal way. Okay? Because in the absence of communication, something as simple as toilet paper can wreck your marriage. It's thin, but it's also needed. Yes. Find a home without toilet paper, we got some problems. Yeah, we don't really miss it until it's gone. Right. To be overlooked until it's not there, much like communication. Yeah. So it has to be used in its proper place. And just like toilet paper has to be used every day. Because eventually, if you don't use it in its proper place, if it's not readily available, we will have a lot of stinking marriages. Wow. Dirty marriages. Because of lack of communication. Because what you do speaks so loudly. I can hear what you say, and it's not enough to have it if you don't use it.
I want to start today by dealing with a real simple definition of what communication is. All right, what really communication is, and let's start. Let's start. Let's talk. Let's interact a little bit. What is communication? If you defined communication, what's communication to you? Any of it? If I told you that communication, there's a word I saw in a definition of communication that said it is the successful conveying and sharing of an idea or feeling. Now here's what got me. I underlined successful. Because sometimes we talk, but we don't communicate. Sometimes we feel, but we don't communicate. Sometimes we've listened, but we've not communicated, because communication is sharing or sending and receiving a message. And sometimes while we're talking, we've talked a whole lot, but we ain't said nothing as far as the other person is concerned. They haven't heard it, because we have made talking and communication one and the same. Communication includes talking, but it's not the sum total of communication. So if all you do is talk, it is possible that you've talked about it, but you haven't communicated. I wonder how many times we walked away and said, well, I talked. I done done everything. I done tried to communicate, and well, what you did was you told them everything you thought, but you didn't hear anything that they said. You sent, but there was no receiving of what you sent. And so you've talked, but you haven't communicated. Somebody listened, but you haven't communicated. I don't know if you all have ever been a part of this. It happened to me in college in a classroom. The teacher started, and she calls the student up, and she calls him up there. I would call Pastor Slaughter up, and I would make a statement to him. And he would go back, and we went through the class, and by the time that statement, they would share with everybody, by the time it got to the last person, and that person stood up before everybody and told them it had nothing to do. Absolutely nothing to do. There wasn't even a word in there that was right. I mean, it had nothing to do. How in the world did I make that clear statement? And by the time it got to the end of the room, it had nothing to do with what was said. So communication, sometimes, while it includes talking, while it includes listening, while it includes our feelings, those things in and of themselves are not necessarily communication. Communication, if we break it down to its simplest form, it is sending and receiving a message. Now, I want you to understand, I believe this. I believe that every healthy relationship must have healthy communication. every healthy relationship must have healthy communication. I believe our communication from time to time, we have to have some checkups. Because she talked about seasons. Seasons is something we're going to deal with. Because there are some seasons where your communication may be on point and strong, and then life happens. Job requires more. Children come. And all of a sudden, what in one season was very strong, now you're in another season, and it's not as strong. Right? So just like your physical body, and you, watch this, you don't just go to the doctor for a checkup because you feel bad or something looks bad. It's just time, let's check this out, right? And sometimes what we do, we don't check our communication out till we fell out. Till we're mad, till things have blown up. But we ought to from time to time pay attention to and check out our communication, all right? Because healthy relationships are going to require that we have healthy communication. Let's start. I'm going to include you. I'm almost done really now. I'm a preacher, so I got to set y'all up that way so y'all don't leave me. I'm almost done. Let's start with a checkup. I want to ask this question on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Where do you think you are in your communication? I'm asking you as a couple. If y'all are willing to share that.
As a couple, as me by myself.
No, I'm asking you all as a couple. Even if you all want to talk about it, but from 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Where do you think you are in this season right now in your, as far as healthy communication, that your communication as you flow? Where are you?
I mean,
Right now.
Right now.
Okay, I got you. That's good. That's important. Yes.
What you're saying was strong in the beginning. We're kind of the opposite. We were kind of not strong in the beginning.
Kind
Now
of not. Yeah,
we're-
kind of not.
Okay.
You know, there was no communication, a lot of fighting, and
How long you been married?
13 years.
Wow, that's good. So can you kind of tell me, because my next question is the why, and the why is what I'm going to ask everybody, regardless of where you tell me you are on the scale. I want to know the why. So why do you think, you talked about you started off weak, you've gotten stronger, you've grown. What's the why? Why are you at a 9 now, you think?
I mean, mainly because of God.
I mean, wow.
We focused. We got to. I mean, you know, we became. I guess.
Well, we became Christians after we were married.
Okay.
But we really, I think we really became one after that.
Wow.
And I think we focused more on God, and that's what.
And we
really,
take a lot of time out for ourselves. I mean, you ask all of our friends, like our weekly date nights and talk to each other daily, and so. But that took a lot of work and a lot of like nobody. You know, I didn't even want to do that, but.
That's good. That's really good. It's good. It's good to know the why, because guess what? In all those things, loving God, becoming Christian, there'll probably be a season that you may look at that communication again, and it might not be a 9. It might be a 3 or 4, and it's good to know the why it was at a 9, so that when you're at a 3, you can revisit some of those things that made it a 9 and go back up there again. The why is important. The why is important. Somebody else.
7.
7? 7?
Would you agree? 7? About a 7.
Tell me the why. Why you say 7?
I think because the Lord, the Lord is still growing me, and so He's still humbling me to some degree. So there are some conversations we have. My response is because either I may not understand what she's trying to say, and I'm not trying to explain to her what she's trying to say, and so that's why I say a 7. I feel like we do communicate good, but I say a 7 because our marriage with the ministry and her job is so many moving parts. It's just like you said, it could be 7 today and 3 tomorrow. But I think right now it's a 7 because we've got room to improve our conversation, and I'm still getting to know her and me. So I guess I just still got room to grow. So that's why I would say 7.
That's the gist of what I heard you say in the why. I'm still growing. that we're growing together, but I'm still growing. I heard you take a whole lot of responsibility for that 7 in the sense that personally I'm growing. I'm growing, and sometimes if our communication's gonna grow, guess what? We do too. Now I will be honest with y'all. I love my wife, but sometimes I'm more focused on what she needs to do than what I need to do. I can tell her everything she needs to do and we'd be all right. But sometimes I ignore what I need to do. Right? So that the why there is excellent. That the why there is excellent. Anybody? What about you guys?
I'd say a 1.
A 1. Okay.
Yes.
Tell me the why.
Too busy, even though I've been home for almost a month because of surgery. He's been doing a lot of working, which, with COVID and everything, and people shortchanging some of their jobs. That's why he's had to work a lot. And with this surgery, it was a new season for me because I've never had not a family member take me for my surgery or anything, and it was a church member. And I've always had my mom or my sister or David be the one, but this is the first season that's not been a family member.
Wow. So 1 for you deals with in some ways that you feel alone. That it's not that he won't be there, but he can't be there, and then there's nobody else. That's good to hear. Because even in your business, and I miss these, but sometimes if I can grab it, it might not be that you can change everything, but there might be something. Might be a text during lunch. Might be something. So you might not be able to stay at home because you got to go to work, but it might be something when you know. Did it surprise you that she said 1, or were you in agreement?
I'm in agreement. And we talked about, because her surgery was in Atlanta, and we talked about it. Like we've got 15, 16 children at home. How are they going to get picked up and all this and that and the other? And it was a mutual agreement that I didn't go, but at the same time, she was alone. And we do talk a lot, usually exchanging information, that's it.
Wow. Okay.
And she has the luxury, and I do too. I can pop in at lunch sometime and just sit down and eat with her, but we got a lot of room to grow.
We all do. We all do. We all do. What about you guys?
I would say 6.5, 7. I feel like I can always improve. How can I be a better father? How can I be a better husband? I'm always hard on myself. I know one thing she always says to me, like, say for instance, I might spend too much on technology or downstairs, I always ask her, like, hey, just give me a notice. Hey, you doing too much. Come back to me. Come back to the family. And I appreciate that, because it used to be way worse than that. And she always asks me, what is something that I can improve on? What can I do? And I never have an answer or nothing, because I'm always thinking positive. I'm always focused on me. What can I do better?
But that makes it hard on people like us, because we want to know what we can do better, and we know it's something.
Yeah.
So if you don't tell us, we'll make up stuff.
Okay.
And then we'll probably give you what you don't want because you haven't told us what we asked you.
Okay.
Martha shared this before, and I think it's applicable. We give what we want. What we need is what we give. And so sometimes, because I set her up this way, because I'll be, I'm good, and I leave her guess. So what she ends up giving to me is what she wants. It's not what I need. It's what because that's all she knows. You give, if you notice what you give to people in the way, you give what you want back. You give what you want. And so if you don't inform her of what you need, she's going to give you what she needs.
Okay.
She's not going to know to give you what you need. And sometimes, here's the growing. Sometimes I really don't know what I need. I got to take some time. Sometimes it requires prayer. God, show me, help me. But learning me growing, so that then I can help her, help me, and help our communication.
He was saying 6 and a half. What did you say? 6 and a half? 7?
Yeah.
So I would say a 7. More so on the 7 side. And for me, it's because like we've been involved with the marriage group, and during that time that I have learned that like before, like when we lost the first baby, it was kind of hard, and I held on to a lot of stuff. And so after we started going to the marriage group, I learned to like let go. And so now I can talk to him about stuff, and then not like if we have a issue or argument, instead of us texting and arguing, that's how we used to argue. We would be texting and arguing with each other and stuff. Now, like I've learned, and I'm still learning, that don't bring up A, B, C, and D. If it's E, focus on E. You know, I'm not where that I was and stuff then.
So you see movement. Let me first say, you to beat me in every argument, because I can't text fast enough. I still be out. I'd have punched hard, but you to beat me to the word. But no, that's and I can hear just in a little bit. He made the statement, I stay positive. So I can imagine how you all handled the loss would have been the exact opposite. It would have almost been like he's not paying attention, but really what he's trying to do is stay focused and stay positive, and you're hurting all the while. And you know what? He's probably giving you the same positivity he gives himself, not necessarily what you need. Because he's giving you what he would need. So he's positive. You need him to grab you and tell you it's going to be all right. And he's trying to move, and he's giving you what he would need, but he doesn't have any idea what you needed. Communication breaks down. And so even his positivity, that's what he's sending. What you're receiving is he don't care. You're receiving something different. Message sent and message received is what communication is. What about you guys?
We talked about, I guess we're about a 6. Because we're so busy. And then when I'm like, hey, I need some time. I got you. It's a month later. Oh no. And I'm like, okay, so then I get frustrated and I shut down. I go to my little cave and I close my door on purpose, like she ain't studying me no way. Or when I'm trying to get some time, it's like she's like this, and babe, I'm talking to you. She got 10, 11 messages she working with at one time. Like, hey, I'm over here. What's going on?
She's a multitasker.
All the time.
I was about to share that same thing.
All the time.
Martha is a multitasker. Let me tell you what I need. I need your undivided attention. Even if you're not hearing anything I say, make eye contact with me and act like I tell the church that if y'all ain't getting it, just nod. Everyone, look at me.
Yes.
And sometimes baby, I got everything you say. She doing 50 things, and she can probably do 50 things better than I can do one. But here's what I need. I need you to pay attention to me.
Yes.
So if that's what you need, give her what she needs. Take some stuff off her plate so she don't have to handle so much.
She won't let me.
Okay, we'll try harder.
Reb, I'm glad you're catching the brunt of that, because that's
And I know I have a problem with control, and that's something that I'm working within myself, that sometimes I have to let go.
Yeah, we do.
Can I say
Yes,
something
sir,
to that?
please.
And because that's so important in a marriage, because when my wife and I first got married, I did the dishes and this. And so God was putting it on my heart, to really serve my wife. And then, ministry and work and gets busy. Well, the surgery she just had was supposed to be 45 minutes, and then 2 days you're back at work. Ended up being a 2.5 hour surgery, and can't stand on your feet, can't wash dishes, can't cook, can't do laundry for 12 weeks. and it's only been 2.5 weeks. And so what I thought was busy, I have to stay at home with her, do breakfast, do the laundry, run out real quick. Matter of fact, one day I was out, called, no answer. Shot right back to the house.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bust in the house. Hey, oh, my phone's over there. I said, well, I'd rather come home for nothing
Yes.
than come home. And so I was saying, you know, and that kind of made me think the first week, a lot of stuff that I was doing, I didn't really need to do because my priority is taking care of her. So going to the jail and Salvation Army and all that, just, I don't. And my son gets home at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then if I need to go somewhere, I leave, come back and do supper, do laundry, whatever. So, and it's in response to that, something like that will make you realize that everything that we do, you don't got to do. So, it just kind of made me kind of refocus on taking care of my wife as a priority, and ashamed at saying because I have to. See, before I didn't have to. I mean, I did help her, but I could have, not that she would let me, but I could have done it, everything all alone. But good things got in the way. So everything that we do, you don't really got to do. People do what they want to do.
There's a difference in good things and God things.
Yeah.
And so you're saying a part of healthy communication is prioritizing.
Prioritize. Because like you said, what'd you say?
Speak so loud.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. So you can say I'm there and I love you and I'm gonna make time, but if you never do, then you really don't, no matter what you say.
Yeah. So true.
And so that's just, that has helped me more, you know, to eliminate, because even after January, some of the things I was doing, I'm not gonna do them anymore. Just because I got one wife. I mean, if I die today, God forbid, somebody else is gonna be in ministry. Or do whatever I was doing, it'd be just like it always has been.
And Brother Lou, you gotta remind your wife that she's more than what she does. You know, I already know, I saw it today. I just sit back and observe.
She's more than what she does.
Yeah.
I gotta,
She's more than the work she does.
okay.
Sometimes
That's deep.
we identify ourselves by what we do and not who we are. So as her husband, you have to remind her that you are more than what you do. Because that's where she gets her self-validation from. You're not going to outwork her. I can already tell. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're not. She's going to, like he said, she's going to run circles around you. But that's her self-validation. So you have to remind her, you know, all this is good, but you're more than what you do. You're my wife. You're my back. You're my boo. Yes. Right. She's more than what she does. Yeah. And I mean, she finds self-validation in that and all the stuff she does. That's why she does so much.
And most of the time, you see that more with men than you do ladies. But when you have that, I have that situation. But most of the time, you see it with me, and that's why when women greet each other, they talk about their home, their children. When men come together, they meet each other. What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
Because that's how we define our. That's how we define us. Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
No, just good.
Does that make sense?
It makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense.
So I'm gonna cut across the field, and I don't want to hold you all long. I'm done. In my estimation, in order for us, if we're all in agreement that a healthy relationship has to have healthy communication, and I think that we are. I think we're all in agreement with that. If that's the case, I want to talk about what I believe are 3 musts if we're gonna have healthy communication. All right, they're musts. There are 3 musts. First one, I'm gonna give it to you quick. The first must is that you must know your partner's perspective. In communication, you must know your partner's perspective. Let me help y'all. It was 1994, first year of my marriage. Fall of the year, I was watching a football game in my den, and my wife walks down into the den. Pastor Slaughter, she, without saying a word, picks up the remote cuts the TV off, turned to me and communicated with me that you don't spend any time with me. Now, I had a problem with this, number one, because it was a good game. Okay, y'all get that when you get home. No. I had a problem with this because I prided myself on being at home. I was at home, and I was at home every night. Now let me show you my perspective and why I'm telling you this has to do with communication and perspective. You must know your partner's perspective. I didn't have much conversation for that, but I was sure ready to argue about that because I'm at home. And if you're going to say anything about me, you can't say I'm not at home.
Yes, sir.
And she just came in here, cut my TV off, and told me that I'm not spending any time with her. Now here's the perspective I'm coming from, and y'all need to get this. My perspective is that I grew up in a broken home. My parents divorced, and as a child observing it, I believed, I'm sure it was more complicated than that, but I believed by and large that their divorce had much to do with my dad never being at home. And so for me, I was always going to make sure when I got married, if I didn't do anything else, I was going to be at home. Even my pursuit of job, if I had a job that couldn't give me from this hour to this hour where I could go back home, I didn't want it because I wanted to be at home. I worked at that. I made that a priority. When I got married and the fellas wanted to go shoot ball, no, I ain't going to shoot no ball. I'm going home. I'm going to make sure I'm at home. That's the perspective in which I'm coming from. I'm working at this thing, y'all. I'm excited about the fact, I'm in my first year, but I'm going to be at home. I got a whole lot of calls. No, I ain't going to be able to do that because I'm working to be at home. That's my perspective. Now let me share hers. She came from an intact family. Her dad was always at home. So what was work for me and what I thought should have been applauded, she thought that's what you're supposed to do. That was her perspective. So now when she wants to have a conversation about time and she's talking about spending quality, because she doesn't understand my perspective and I don't understand hers, the communication gonna break down because I'm thinking she ought to be celebrating me and she thinking you ain't done nothing. You have to know your partner's perspective because she tells me all the time when we talk, what I'm learning over the years is no matter what you say, it goes through what I call a funnel, right? Whatever your experience has been, whatever is going, so the words I say coming out of my mouth, they mean one thing, but when they go through your funnel for you, they mean something else. You have to know your partner's perspective. If you don't understand their perspective, you all can be using the same words talking about something totally different. So I was ready to argue. I didn't want to talk. I'm at home. And you talking to me about spending some time. I'm working to be. Do you realize that what I've done in a few months, I didn't see the whole time my parents were married. I made sure I'm at home. Yes, sir. And you come to cut my TV off talking about, I said, she crazy. She done lost her mind. Because I didn't understand perspective, and she didn't understand mine. And so it becomes a must in healthy communication that you understand one another's perspective. Because what you're saying, if you don't understand their perspective, it means one thing to you. It means something totally different to them. See, and she's talking about quality time. Well, time was just time to me. And ultimately, I'll give her this. She was right. But we had to get to the place of understanding one another's perspective before I was even willing. Listen, I wasn't willing to give her what she wanted. I wasn't willing to talk to her about time because I needed her to tell me how wonderful I was about the time I was spending. And not only was she not celebrating my effort, she had the nerve to ask me for more. And I wasn't willing to give more because she wasn't celebrating what I was already doing. But I had to get her perspective too. Because what I was doing to her was what I was supposed to do. I had to grasp that concept, right?
Dang.
Right? It's important. I promise I'm going quick. But you must know. You must know your partner's perspective. All right? If you're going to have healthy communication, you must be an active listener. An active listener. An engaged listener. See, I'll be honest with you. It took me a while to learn what you all stated. If you came with it, I told y'all were smarter than I was. Y'all came with it. But it took me a while to learn that listening was a major part of communication. Took me a while to grab that. This is the only scripture I'm going to give y'all today, but I want to give y'all this scripture. Proverbs 18:13 says this: He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Let me read it again. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame to him.
Proverbs what?
Proverbs 18:13. Let me give y'all the sales version. When you start talking about something before you've listened and heard, you silly. That crazy for you to talk about what you ain't listened to. You trying to fix something, you ain't even heard her yet. You ain't heard him yet. And you already given an answer and you haven't taken the time to listen. You must be an active listener.
Not you, love.
I'm the king at it.
Not you, love.
I can give one word, I'm already
Not you, love.
Listen, has anybody ever been here that while your spouse is talking, they're talking, but you're thinking about your rebuttal? You ain't hearing nothing they say. You are thinking about what you're going to tell them back.
Get back.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, sometimes I probably just, I'm better at it now. But when she would talk, I would listen. But the whole time I'm trying to, whatever the problem is, I'm trying to
solve it.
Yeah, men are fixing.
Yeah, that's what we are.
And you can look at his face and know that that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I have to learn how to, instead of, she may not want me to do anything, but listen to it.
Boy, you're great. That, man, that'll keep all kind of marriages together. It took me years to get there because we're in a conversation. She wants to talk. I'm sitting down to talk, and I'm listening for what I need to do, and she just wants to talk. And I'm like, what's the point? What do you want me to do? What do I because I'm listening for how do I fix this? And sometimes the fixing is just in the listening. That's all she wants. It took me forever to get that one. Because I am saying, okay, what do you want me to do? Okay, is this what you... But she just wants to talk. I want to fix... Tell me what's wrong, and then I'll go correct it.
So sometimes you can vet conversations like, okay, babe, do you want me to listen? Do you want to hear the Martha version?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to pray about it and then we come back together?
Yeah.
Because sometimes the listening is just, I just need you to hear me. I don't need you to do anything. So do you just want me to listen?
That's right.
Do you want me the Martha version? Because the Martha version is not always the Sister Sales version. Because the Martha version might be like, just go get it. You know what I'm saying? Do you want the Martha or do you want to pray about it? And then we come back together and talk about it.
And she'll say things to me like, okay, I want to talk to my husband today. I don't want to talk to my pastor.
Right.
She'll say things like that to me. I don't want to talk to my pastor today. I want to talk to my husband.
Yeah. We're going to New Orleans. I'm not taking my husband. I'm taking my boyfriend. I don't want my pastor going, buddy. I want my boyfriend.
I don't want the counselor.
Right, not the counselor. Yeah, like, okay, I'm going to need you to put a different hat on, look. I don't need a counselor right now. I need my boy. Is this my boyfriend or is this the pastor? Because I I already know what Mark says. I need to know what Sean says.
Yeah. And it's funny, we can laugh because it's true with all of us. It's true. We don't often come together and talk about it. It's true.
Yes. True.
We're going to have a healthy relationship. We got to have healthy communication. And there's a must in that healthy communication. You must know your partner's perspective. Because y'all can be using the same language talking about two different things. You must know your partner's perspective. But you also must be an active listener. Martha will often say this. I keep bringing her up. Y'all gonna think she wins every argument. She wins most of them, but don't y'all tell it. But she'll say things like this. Sometimes we'll be talking, and because I'm trying to get to, okay, this is what needs to happen, and she'll say, Sean, do you want to be right or do you want a resolution? And sometimes, you know what? I get more mad because she's petty. I want to be right. I want to be right. The point of this whole conversation has become, I'm right, and you need to acknowledge it. And sometimes that's where I'm that petty sometimes. Yeah, you know what? I want to be right.
And we all are. Everybody is.
So this is a tool that all of you already are aware of, but I use this because I understand that I must be an active listener. I use this with Martha, and y'all probably have some more sophisticated things that you use, but I often do this with her. We'll be in conversation, and I'll say, okay, babe, so what I hear you saying is this, and I repeat what I heard. And amazingly, just like in that class, sometimes she's like, no, that's not what I said at all. That's not what I meant at all. Well, that's what I heard. So I'll say again, she'll talk again, and I'll say, okay, babe, so what I heard you say was this, this, and this. Because if I didn't know listening was a part of communication. I thought it was just, let's see who's the smartest about this one. Let's figure this thing out, right? But listening must be a part of healthy communication. So I'll use it. What I hear you saying, and I'll repeat it. And if she says, yes, that's what, then I'll say, okay, well, this, and this. Now, do you hear what I'm saying, right? It starts the sending and the receiving successfully of an idea and a feeling. Must be, right? Must be an active listener. Let me give you this last one, and I'm done. Let me give you this last one. Third must, in my opinion, there are probably more must than this, but these, y'all just getting the sales home version. This is what you're getting. Man, write this one down if you don't write anything else down. You must know that when you stop talking, Satan will start. You must know when you stop talking, Satan will start. Yep. Have you ever noticed that when you get mad, your first inclination is to do this? Yes. And have you ever noticed that Satan didn't say a word till you did this, and then he started telling you what she felt and what she meant and what she was trying to get you to? When you stop talking, he starts talking. And let me tell you, the problem with that is Satan is a liar and the father of it. So everything he's telling you is a lie, but if you don't have the other person to refute it, he's so good at lying, his lies seem and sound true.
And it sounds like it's the other person.
You must know when you stop talking, Satan gonna start. And that joker good at it too, because I'll be one way, and the longer I'm away, the madder I get. I'm ready, and that's what she thinking, and she thinks she ain't that, and the more he talk, the madder I get.
Yep.
Right? Because when you stop talking, he start. And here's why it's a problem for me. Again, I'm gonna go back to my perspective. My home, and y'all think I grew up in a bad home. I didn't. I wasn't disadvantaged in any way. Never felt unloved. My parents' marriage didn't work out, right? But one of the things with them is there was a lot of arguing. And I always said when I had my house, wasn't going to be no fussing in my home.
Yeah,
and I'll leave it.
I hated it.
Yeah. And I tell my wife, hey, it's going to be hard for you to fuss by yourself. Yeah. But watch this. I go to the other extreme because sometimes it's not that I'm avoiding fussing. I'm avoiding talking. All right? Sometimes.
It's called stonewall. You want to get technical.
Your part of this presentation is over. When we rolled up the toilet paper, you would. So really understand this, that when you stop talking, do not get to the place where you become comfortable not to, and I do it. Man, I go to my corner, I'm processing, I'm trying to figure out, okay, all right. And I've not just learned this at home, I do it everywhere. I'm probably not going to engage you in fussing. I'm just going to cut you off. And it's not good all the time. It's not good. And so I'll still be looking at you, smiling at you, but I got you right here. I got you at a distance. And you got to understand, when in any relationship, when you stop talking, the enemy going to start. And he's going to feed you with a whole lot of lies.
I will never forget that, sir. Yeah. I will never forget that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Because he does.
Yes.
He will run a gamut.
Yes, sir.
He will run a gamut. And I see a lot of clients dealing with that. Mm-hmm. Relationship stuff is, falling apart, and the communication is gone, and now the enemy's feeding all these lies. Mm-hmm. And then the anger well is filling up. And now there is nothing going on but just frustration and just dissension and talking about each other behind each other's back. And the devil's just having a party. Mm-hmm. See it all the time.
Let me use Brother Slaughter's example. I called back home and she didn't answer the phone. The problem was that the phone was over there. But in my mind, so she ain't taking my call. When I left, she would talk and she would on the phone laughing, and now she can't take my call.
What didn't happen? Yeah. What's going on?
Right. So again, Martha's gonna beat me up all the way home on this one because I'm the worst at this.
Buddy's taking me home.
I'll shut down on it. So that's what I've got. The 3 musts in healthy communication. You must know your partner's perspective. You must be an active listener, and you must know that when you stop talking, Satan will start. All right? Healthy communication is what's required in a healthy relationship. All right? Love and appreciate you guys. All right?